Inaitwa City of Champions. Currently, today I was in town. We got to the traffic light with I was on a boda with my boda guy, and then on the traffic light we had to stop. We stopped at the traffic light. Then we were two bodas side by side. I was on one motorbike, he was on another motorbike. Then all of a sudden the Kanjo guys came from the county. And then they were like, young man, where is your sticker? Where is your, reflector? Where is your helmet? He had the sticker, he had the reflector. He didn't have the helmet on his head. Also, the guy close to us, he also did not have the helmet on his head. So, hey, all of a sudden, the guy mwenye alikuwa kando yetu, akaanza kuongea Kalenjin. Akaambiwa, wewe, enda. Sisi, because we don't know how to speak Kalenjin, and this is for real, because we don't know how to speak Kalenjin, wakatuambia nyinyi ni kama sisi ndo tuko na shida, sisi tukuje twende nao county, shukeni kwa pikipiki, tunataka kuchukua hiyo pikipiki, mbona hamna hizo vitu? And I was like, yo, mbona huyu mumemwachilia kuza naongea Kalenjin, sisi hamjatuachilia kuza tunaongea Kalenjin? Then all of a sudden they took wakachukua the motorbike, they roughly handled the guy, wakambeba wakampeleka kwa cells za county. Then me, I was just there, wakakata niingie kwa gate. They tell me, hii gate ni ya VIP, you're not VIP. If you want to enter this county, you have to go from all the way from behind. I was like, oh, sawa, okay. Then all of a sudden, they brought in another young man, another police or something. Then he came in, they snatched away my phone from me. They were like, no, you cannot take the videos. So I don't know. They cannot take the videos in the county. And I was like, no, that is not right and all that. And then when we came inside, and then they told me ukisha delete hizo video zote tutaachilia mtu wenu na tuachilie pikipiki. I was like, oh, okay. Haya, ni kama tukakaa ni kama wenye tumedelete those zingine tulikuwa tumetuma mahali. Haya, after sasa wameona ni kama wenye tumedelete, then they all walked away. Wakaniacha hapo, and then they were like, huo mtu hatoki, pikipiki haitoki. Then I got another corporal to help me or something. The corporal who said he's going to help me, venye nilikutana na yeye, akani direct to the cell side. Arriving on the cell side, nikapata makosa ameandikiwa ni obstruction. And I was like, obstruction? Because we can't speak Kalenjin, tunaandikiwa makosa ya obstruction. How is that? Guys, is that fair? And I tell you, it's tribalism hasn't ended in Kenya. It is so sad. But it is this tribalism still hasn't ended in Kenya. It is so sad, actually. Please share as much as you can. Thank you so much, guys.
Mlisema Eldoret imepanda status. It's no longer Eldoret town, it's Eldoret city. And according to me, a city is supposed to occupy people of different tribes. But ikifika LD, Juicy, I went for an interview. I was shortlisted. I won't mention the company. I was shortlisted for interview. Nikaenda, I was among the last 3 people who were chosen. They were looking for an assistant accountant. So kufika pale, I went into the interview room. This interview room had 6 mature men who, getting by their looks, walikuwa above 40 years. So standing in that interview room, I expected them, or seated in that interview room, I expected them to ask me questions relating to accounts, economics, and investment, such things, and balancing books of accounts, checkbooks, and all those things that are involved in accounting. Unfortunately, they read my name out loud, Jemima Ombui Mosomi, and they couldn't tell from what tribe I came from. So the interview that they did to me was asking me, what is your tribe? Honestly and innocently, I answered my tribe. Tell me why 6 mature men look at each other, then look back at me, laugh, and tell me, hey, unatoka kwa kina Matiang'i, nyinyi ndio mnataka kututoa kwa serikali, you just go, tutakupigia simu. What the fuck? Mi hata sijuani na Matiang'i, si lazima mkwe tribal, na msiingishe politics kwa kila kitu. Mi nikienda shule kusoma, Matiang'i was not there. And if I was related to Matiang'i, trust me, singekuja kwa kampuni yenu kufanya interview.
Date 8, Eldoret inakuwa city. na ningependa kuchukua hii nafasi kuambia congratulations. But the problem ile niko nayo ni kuwa mtakuwa city ambayo ni metropolitan, because nimesikia usemi wewe governor ulipoingia, mimi nilisikia tu kwa masikio yangu ukiambia the indigenous community there kuwa waangalia wasiuza mashamba zao ama plot zao kwa community zingine, kwa sababu hawa wanataka kuwanyang'anya city yenu, town yenu. So mimi question yangu kwa governor, unajua one qualification for a city ni kuwa metropolitan. Iko na watu wa kabila wote wana embraceana, wanapendana the way Nairobi looks like. Nairobi hakuna mtu anakuulizaga umetoka wapi ama unafanya nini. But the problem with the Eldoret people, I don't know whether you embrace that unity. Sijui kama mta embrace kupendana na kuruhusu kila mtu anunue shamba pahali anataka. Na ikiwa ni wazi mko ready for nini, for city, peeni watu title deed. Watu wale mmekataa kupea title deed for years, wapeeni title deeds. Kuna watu mmekataa kupea because kuna watu wanaamini hawa watu si wa hapa, that's why they should not get the title deed. Wapeeni ndivyo Eldoret iende juu, kwa sababu watu wengi wako Eldoret kutafuta pesa wana invest in other places. Na Eldoret ni town ambayo iko na potential kubwa sana. I believe in that because I have been there and I know your town will go far if muta embrace unity na muache hiyo mentality ya kuwa hapa ni kwetu, hapa ni kwetu. City hainaga mwenyewe, city ni ya watu wote.
Wadau hawa kale wameenda kufanya nini town? Man, that is so stupid. That is so backward. That is so backward. Kwani tuko 1950. This is a new generation. We have to do things differently. We have to structure how we are going to change lives. And that does not involve calling old men from the village and giving them 5,000 shillings to just come to town and masquerade with clubs so that people can fear to stand and fight for their rights. That is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life. And that is among the most stupidest thing that our leaders in Uasin Gishu County have done. And if that is how things are going to be done, we should now start standing and asking questions like, why are we not given those things that they've constructed so that we can use them to make money? I think our country is falling. And the only way we are going to fight for it is by standing and speaking about the ills and the flaws that are in it. Like this stupid thing that happened in Eldoret some 2-3 days. And also today. Some old men who've worn masks and walking around with stupid clubs and trying to threaten the young people. And shouting some chants that people don't understand. When do you think this is a cosmopolitan town? This is not a town for Kalenjins. This is a town for people who are living in Kenya. No, that is so backward.
Trouble is brewing here in Moi University, Eldoret. It is only 3 days before over 4,000 students celebrate their academic achievements during the 32nd graduation ceremony.
Hakuna graduation kama hakuna vice chancellor anaitwa kusikie wakwende huko.
The disquiet is all due to a recent change in the chain of command at the university. The acting vice-chancellor, Laban Ayiro, was due to be confirmed as a substantive vice-chancellor, but the area leadership and the section of the university would have none of that.
We are only telling the minister, perform your duties. Release the appointment letter of one Professor Isaac Kosgei. Yes.
Huyu Kosgei hatukumsaidia kufanya interview. Alifanya interview yake mwenyewe, akapatikana akiwa namba 1. Ni lazima tutetee watu wetu. Hatuwezi fungwa mguu na mkono, alafu anasema mfua.
The hottest in the game, the baddest in the building. Ile neo jamaa. Mavunja. Mavunja. Yeah.
Good evening, good people. Now, it didn't even take more than a week for what I say to come into fruition. I say this with so much conviction because it's going to be so deeply rooted. Come 2027, the message is going to be so deeply rooted that anybody who's going to try to counter it is going to fail. And let's begin by watching this first video. Let's just watch this.
I find it unfair that many people, especially the church, the media, and our critics, are criticizing President William Ruto, not based on the facts, on the things we are doing, but it's a criticism that is laced with tribalism.
So, C.S. Murkomen tried to convince us that the reason as to why people are against President William Ruto is because of his tribe. Come on. I think you could have done better. Let's not make this about tribalism. Let's not make this about tribes. The general mood and the general feeling about the people is that they feel let down. And I told you, the narrative is going to be so deeply rooted come 2027, whoever is going to try to counter it is probably going to be late, and that's why there's need for us to sensitize the masses as early as now. Let 2027 not be about tribalism. Let it be about what somebody has been able to do and what he's been able to deliver and that which he hasn't been able to deliver. So that was the first video of the foot soldiers and the lieutenants who are going to be used to propagate this message. Let's watch this second one.
Nataka niwaombe. Inji yetu inaongozwa na propaganda mingi sana. Na nataka niseme nikiwa hapa Mount Elgon. Mnajua watu wengi wamekuwa wakikashifu serikali ya Kenya Kwanza. Na ukweli wa mambo, hiyo mambo yote 1+1 10+10 ni ukabila. So tupatie William Ruto nafasi na tuwache ukabila. Unajua kuna watu wako na umaarufu wanafikirianga hii inji ni yao. Hii inji ni ya Wakenya milioni zaidi ya.
Again, same message. The conversation is basically pegging on tribalism, trying to create this illusion, this sort of narrative and picture that this is being done to this person because he hails from a particular sort of community. That's not the case. And that is where they want us to focus. That is where they want a majority of the nation to focus their energy towards. I don't believe in that sort of politics. It's dirty. I know all politics are local, but I don't believe in charging up the masses to get to a point where that particular community or that group of people will feel some type of way about a certain group of community. I don't believe in that sort of politics, but that is what is at play. So my job right here is to sensitize the few people who will be able to listen, because of course, come 2027, you'll still have the same people being deluded in that sort of narrative and just basically following that. But at least for the few masses who are open to this sort of interpretation, this is the case right here. Let's make a better Kenya. Come 2027, let's make better choices. Peace out.
Ati black chocolate ni fine melanin bana kutoka nikapate. Kanapenda kenye mi wanapenda, so kanapenda toto chupa na haga nono.
Madam na kudai, umedunga mini na unapenda mangwai. Una dance fit, unawacha nikismile. Ama niko high, you are nice.